Hi there, welcome back to your training on how to deal with difficult conversations. As promised, we're now going to discuss in Module 2, we're going to discuss what we call the DESC method. So what is this DESC method then? Well, the D from the DESC method describe the situation or behavior that's causing the problem. So you have to describe to the person facing you why exactly, what kind of behavior has caused this problem, and what really is the basis of the whole discussion. The E is to express how it makes you feel, and also explain what the impact of this might be, whether the impact is on the organization, whether the impact might be on other colleagues, might in fact be on other customers, but you have to express how this makes you feel. You can use emotion at this point, for example, explaining I'm quite disappointed to see that this is actually affecting our customers and your fellow colleagues, in fact. So you have to express how it makes you feel and explain indeed what the impact actually is. That's very important. Then the S is to suggest a solution or specify alternative behavior. So as we've just seen in the case where someone's not behaving correctly and causing problems with the customers or clients, there have been a number of reasons for this, of course. But at the S point in the DESC method, you're trying to suggest, and indeed you try and get a suggestion from the person you're talking to as to how they're going to solve the situation or offer a solution to the situation in question. That's very important because obviously if the solution comes from them, it's going to be much easier to put in place at the end of the day. And if not, you have to specify the alternative behavior or the alternative things that you want to happen. So it's about suggesting solutions and about specifying alternative behaviors, the S. The C, of course, consequences. Explain what will happen if the situation is not resolved. Well, actually, there's two things here. It's not just if the situation is not solved, it's also if the situation is solved, because you can have, of course, positive and negative consequences. And of course, for example, to say that yes, if the situation indeed at hand is actually resolved, some of the positive consequences will be, for example, that you're going to get on better with your colleagues, that in fact your client satisfaction scores, personal scores are going to go up. You'll probably be in line for your bonus, which is not the case at the moment. So there can be some very positive consequences, of course. It can be to the point where you have to be firm as well and tell the person that if this behavior, this behavior which is not acceptable, should continue, then in that case you're going to have to look toward another type of conversation the next time we meet, and we might actually be in a disciplinary situation at that stage. So that has to be explained in order to be fair to the person. So let's now have a look at this video which I did previously, which really does give an example of how to use this DESC method, but a concrete example.
Hi there, Rob speaking. Just another quick one today on how to deal with difficult conversations. Now, we're very lucky in the sense that we have a very good acronym for this, which is called DESC. So it's D-E-S-C. So it's quite easy to remember. Now, when you have a difficult conversation with someone, the very first thing you have to do is describe what's going on. So let's imagine you've already invited the person to your, and then you describe to them what's going on. For example, let's say they're being late. Then you can say, well, first of all, the reason you're here today is because I want to talk to you about your consistent lateness, and it's become really consistent recently, and it's too much because it's not just 2 minutes or 3 minutes, this is half an hour to an hour that you're late. So you've described what the situation is. Then there's the E, which is the explanation. You explain why this is so important. For example, you could explain that this has become a bit of a problem for the person's colleagues who are actually having to do extra work because the person is not there on time. You could also tell them that, in actual fact, we're having a lot of customer complaints now due to don't have enough people staffing, if we're talking about a customer-facing situation, for example, and this is directly due to your lateness. And the other thing, of course, is that we can't accept this either in terms of the team, either in terms of the customers. And I, myself, I'm fairly disappointed by this whole thing. So as you can see, you can also use a bit of emotion for the E2 whilst you're explaining. You can tell someone you are disappointed, you didn't expect this from them, this type of thing can be said at that stage. Then, of course, there has to be some sort of specification, there has to be some sort of solution, which is the S. So then you would be asking the person, first and foremost, you would ask them, do you have a solution for this problem? What's actually happening? How are you actually going to solve this? And give the person a chance to solve the solution, find the solution themselves. If they can't, then you'll have to specify very precisely what your expectation is moving forward. For example, in this case, you would say, yes, well, from now, as of tomorrow, I'll expect you to be on time. Or if you've agreed something else, I would say from next week, because the person has a personal problem to solve, you'll specify that as from next week, as of next Monday, their hours will change so that to make sure that they are on time, or they'll keep the same hours, but they have to be on time in any case, and they have to take an earlier train or an earlier to get to work. So specification has to be made, and the solution has to be given. Better if it comes from the other person, of course, but in any case, a specification and a solution has to be found. And then, of course, there's a C at the end, and the C at the end is what? It's the consequences. So basically, either positive, either negative. So in the case where everything gets back into order and this person starts coming to work on time, then positive consequences is anything from getting on better with the other team members, to customer satisfaction improving, to their own personal performance improving, which will be noted during their evaluation at the end of the year. Of course, that there's been an improvement, and with everything that goes with that, perhaps even a promotion is in the air. Who knows? But in any case, that's positive consequences. Of course, the negative consequences would be, for example, if I'm afraid that if this should continue after us agreeing today that we've found a solution and we specified the solution together, if this should continue, that the next time we'll see each other won't be for a conversation like we're having today, that we will actually be finding ourselves in a disciplinary situation. You do understand. And that way, the person has all the consequences. The person has had a description of what's going on. They've had the explanation of why it's important. They've also had a chance to solve it themselves, and make specifications themselves. You can then specify, if they can't, what the solution actually is going to be. And then the positive and negative consequences can be pointed out and underlined at the end of the meeting. So, once again, DESC. So describe, explain, then give the specifications or the solution, or get it from the person, and then explain the consequences. So I hope that's been helpful for everyone that's going to be faced as a manager with difficult conversations in the future. In any case, great seeing you all again. Thank you very much for your time, and see you soon again for some more on management. Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed. That video. This is a video that I recorded earlier, of course. And as you can see, there are a lot of things in there, as I explained in the structure of the DESC. So basically, ensuring you describe properly the situation, as the case when the person was late in the video. Then explain why it's important that the person is late, what impacts it's having on the staff, what impacts it's having on the customers, and so forth. Then to specify a solution, find a solution, better if it comes from the person, as I said earlier. And then basically the negative and positive consequences, as we said earlier. So what are the advantages of the DESC method? Well, it provides a very clear structure. So the method provides a clear framework for handling difficult conversations, keeps the conversation on track and productive, because you've got the structure to follow. So it's quite easy to prepare. Increases confidence. Using a DESC method can help individuals feel more confident in engaging in difficult conversations. Because you have structure, it's easy to prepare. So you take each letter basically and prepare, obviously, in advance the discussion that you're going to have with the person, this difficult discussion. And this puts you in a position where you know what you're going to say, where you know how you're going to treat the whole discussion, and basically you're going to be confident going into this discussion because you're going to be prepared properly. It also encourages active listening. As we said in the part about the specification, you're really, as a manager and as a leader, it's really best to try and ensure the person's understood, of course, why it's important. So the explanation of what the situation is important, but it's also important to listen whilst they try and solve a solution, they find a solution, or they specify a solution themselves. It's really important to listen. In some cases it might be, as you saw in the video, that they've not got a solution. It's nearly impossible to have a solution. So you do have to listen to the other person's perspective very, very closely. That's very important. It focuses on problem solving. The method emphasizes finding a solution that works for both parties. So basically what we're saying here is at the end of the discussion, when you close the discussion, you will have reached agreement on a way forward. This is extremely important, of course, in any type of conflictual situation where you've had to tell someone their behavior is not acceptable anymore. You found a solution together and you've agreed on the way forward. That agreement obviously is a contract, is a moral contract, and that would have to be stuck to at the end of the day. So before we go on to the next part of our training, also talk about the reducing of emotional reactions. So when you use a structured approach, individuals are less likely to act emotionally, because actually in the preparation stage, using this DESC method, what you've done is you've stuck to facts. Yeah. For example, you don't tell someone at the beginning, if we take this the same case where someone's being late all the time. You're just lazy, you're not getting out on time. No, you're making a judgment call there. That's not a fact. You'll have noticed in the video that we saw earlier together that I did say at several occasions, exactly how late the person was being, and what explaining what this was causing for the organization. Be factual. Don't use things that are not facts. It's very important. So that's for the end of the DESC method, and I'll see you in next module, in module number 3, coming up soon.